Hello, one. Hello, all. I'm back tonight. We'll try and make this short. You said to me I must talk about the appeal. That appeal is dead on arrival because of reasons I've already advanced. When you appeal, it's not a manner of retrying the case. It doesn't get retried. You're appealing on a point of law or facts, and there is nothing there. I don't know why they waste their time in the manner they do. There's absolutely nothing there. It's another wasted time, which is going to yield zero. Nothing. Nothing is going to come out of that appeal. Also said we need to talk about the Electoral Court. The Electoral Court showed us something, is that whatever momentum, political momentum that the interim SG had, it was dealt a heavy blow yesterday, a heavy, serious blow yesterday, because first of all, he filed very, very late, and the people which he removed filed a day before. And I think about 3:30, the country was in a tense mood because I was receiving calls left, right, and center saying, what is happening? The interim SG has not filed. I called him at the time and told me that no, we're still in court, we're filing. And lo and behold, we then learned that they couldn't field everywhere. There are places where they removed because the people were supposed to be there were disadvantaged, disenfranchised. So this was supposed to be empowering those people, putting them in their rightful places. And lo and behold, they are not there. So the momentum was completely lost, completely lost. What they do from now until elections, I don't know, to bring back the energy, the enthusiasm, the anticipation, the excitement, I really don't know. And then will the MPs the candidates be disqualified on the account that they were just recalled from Parliament? We don't have case law to that effect. We don't. But what we know is that unless you go to court, and I don't know on what basis, because remember we're in the same situation in the just ended elections, the 23 August 2023, 23, 22, whatever the exact date was. Triple C had double candidates, and the issue went to court, and the court said all of you go. So I don't see anything that has changed. You can say I'm distinguishing it on the basis that these ones have just been recalled from Parliament. But remember, that issue has never been brought before a court of law. What was brought before a court of law, it was really challenging Parliament under the misunderstanding of what is Parliament's role. So the process of their firing, and whether or not indeed they've been fired from the party, that issue has not been adjudicated before a court of law. So it will be interesting to watch. Otherwise, I think this issue would not even have gone to court. But what I think will force it to court is if the reporting is correct, that Triple C that is sympathetic to the Chain Champion in Chief, and the Triple C which is sympathetic to the interim SG, they've both filed PR candidates, and PR I'm using a blanket term here covering the senators as well. Then that creates a conundrum that may need adjudication, because what will mean is that you've got two sets of PR MPs that are supposed to go or to Parliament under the same banner, which is virtually impossible, because unlike the constituents and the wards, you can't say these are the ones who got voted, and they go on the account of what the constituency and the constituency MPs got. So that was already settled in the August election. So in this election, really, there is no such a thing at play. So now that, because in the August election, the faction which was fielding the so-called double candidates did not put the PR list. So now this time around, whoever is putting the double candidates or whatever, both factions, they now have the PR list. So that may force us to a court of law. As I've already said, we have no precedence of such. I have nothing to work with. before I see the papers, I am not competent at all to say anything. Let's see the papers. Let's see which one will be a persuasive argument, and then maybe from there we can offer our view. There's something which Hopewell said, and he was insulted, maligned, denigrated, and all those things. He simply said, yes, ZANU may take advantage of this, but this is a civil war. This is a triple C fight, which really is playing out in the most ugly manner. He was insulted, he was called all sorts of names. But I am persuaded to agree with him. I'm persuaded to agree with him for the following reasons. In the August election, when the Triple C MPs were being denied the opportunity to run, you saw the entire Triple C, the leadership and everyone come on board. You even saw the Prof go to court, and I think with Advocate Falkram, go to court and fight on their behalf, and that historic win, right? We saw it. We are not seeing the same now. You can see the legal team that represented the recalled MPs and councillors in court. I think I think we could have got a more powerful team than the one they had. And I have not seen any criticism for the hard hitters after the judgment. I haven't seen the criticism of the judgment. Even the whole issue of appealing such a well-written judgment, a well-reasoned judgment, tells me that their legal team is a very weak one, which really doesn't know what it's doing. There's nothing to appeal there. But there are a lot of low-hanging fruits, because somebody said, why don't you advise? I said, no, I'm not their advisor. I don't have that relationship with them. But just as a general member of the public, there are a lot of low-hanging fruits which I can see. For starters, on Sunday, the interim SG gave an interview, I think, to Ezra Chisaswanda, of which when he was asked, recalls coming, he said, certainly they are coming countrywide. We are going to do that. So if you are affected and you are Triple C, there is your opportunity to go to court on urgent basis and get an interdict. Any lawyer worth their salt would advise you that anyway. And you remember a statement on the eve of the nomination court, and the interim SG said the party is now returning to the 2019 Congress structures, which was MTCA at the time. He says it was that executive which gave birth to this, and he said all the constitutional and statutory meetings will now take place, you know. Now, the problem with that, it removes him as an SG and it brings in Honorable Wende, because we know he was not recalled, which means he's still a member of the party. So there are a lot of real issues that can be adjudicated, not this non-issue which they are appealing. I'm just saying, you don't even need to be a lawyer, you just need to be a normal human being that can think logically, that has the ability to pay attention even to just little things, right? So if I were them, I'll abandon this useless notion of an appeal. There is nothing to appeal there. Without the Triple C joining here, without the change champion coming on board, there's nothing that can happen. It is not going to change that whatever they took to court was hearsay evidence. It is not going to change that they did not bring their party membership. It is not going to change that they did not bring the constitution there. The judge had nothing to work with. It was just say, this one is not, as the judge put it, this one is not my brother. No, we are brothers. This one is not the elder brother. This one, and then why are your parents? The parents are not there. There's nothing that that can help the judge. Where is the paternity test? There's no paternity test. So what do you want the judge to do? There was nothing that the judge could do. So yes, I think because the other thing you said I must address is the prognosis. How is this thing going to end? I can tell you now that the Chen Championship has an advantage of the political mobilization. He's very, very strong. So he's politically mobilized. His people are very, very strong politically. So he's got a chance to then work out the legal issues later. But the politics, he's got it. It's on his side. They are really motivated. They are really energized. They are really mobilized. He can start to tighten up the legal side. The interim's SG team, it was a heavy blow yesterday. I'm not sure if they'll have the capacity to recover. I think the momentum was lost when they had their legal win and their case was tight. But even leading up to that, after the successful recalls, I think not enough work was done, if at all, on the ground to keep the ground properly mobilized and energized. But in the final analysis, what we are faced with here is the ZANU-PF 2017 Restore Legacy version of the CCC. This is what you are faced with. I think there were certain grievances, but the intention was not necessarily to address those grievances. There were not the main reason. I think there may be a desire to address them, but I don't think that's the overarching issue. The real issue is their leadership issues that they want to solve. They're trying to get each other to Congress. They're trying to feel recognized and have a proper party, and that is where we are. And if I may quote the trending sermon right now, is you have a party. It's got problems. It's not in the best shape, but you have a party. So ungcono, kungcono because you have a party. Find each other. Inkomo ziyahlabana esibayeni, zibuye zikhothane. If they don't do that, if they don't find each other, they will be forced, as I said yesterday, one of the factions to end up having to negotiate with ZANU. And I think we are all clear what will be the outcome. So, and courts are not the solution in any event. It's going to waste a lot of money, a lot of time. I think it was the 2000 court challenge by President Tsvangirai. That court challenge is still not yet out, the judgment, still not yet out. So this thing can drag for the next 5 years. I don't know if you want to be that irresponsible, if you want to be that prodigal with the people's vote and trust and confidence. Sit down, talk, find each other. You are children of the same family. Don't rush to court at the first instance of disagreement. Don't rush to court at the first instance of disagreement. Learn lessons from the MDCA, MDCT debacle. Learn lessons from there that you could have spoken, because the initial antagonists of that fight, they are together now. So they might have served all of us this by not fighting in the first place, by negotiating. We started negotiating, by the way, you may not know this. The Chen Championship had a team which was negotiating with me when I was in Dr. Kope's team with Senator Chief Ndlovu. So there were negotiations which just broke down, and we went into a battle of immense proportions. We should have never gone there. A full circle, because the principals are now working together. And I think this can be avoided as well, because as Hopewell observed, it's a civil war. They're fighting for positions, and we can all be saved this fight if they sit down and negotiate.